I'm here with Chris Merman looking at a soil nail wall. I looked at this wall a couple months ago, and it's a timber retaining wall and had notable deflection, drainage problems behind it, and the soils were pushing it basically down into the creek that you see here. Chris Merman at Piedmont Foundation Repair was contracted to install a series of soil nails and put in some fencing here to shore up this wall and extend its lifespan 20, possibly 30 years, so it didn't have to be torn out and replaced. We also had some shotcrete done here to fill in a void that was at the base of this wall. And as you can see, these are the the soil nail locations, and they're sped out in a spacing that was determined by a structural engineer. We brought in a geotechnical engineer to do the design as per code requires in North Carolina. So that was taken care of in the beginning so that we'd have our design parameters for permitting and such and so forth. Chris, describe to me exactly what is a soil nail.
A soil nail, simply put, is a drilled, grouted shaft that is used for soil retention or for load retention, like the wall here. And these anchors were drilled back in a minimum of 15 feet. Some of these anchors were drilled, like that you're looking at now, were drilled in about 7 or 8 feet, into 5 feet into solid rock. Others over here, scanning left, were installed up to 25 to 28 feet and grouted in. They were grouted under 2 different times to increase the capacity of the anchor. Each one of these anchors were proof tested to 12 kips, and every one of them held completely well, even though they only had a design capacity of 8 kips. This wall should be here for a very long time. It's still incomplete though with the structural steel fencing. You may have witnessed some of this type of products like up on hillsides in the mountains and so forth, to help for rock slides. That's what you're looking at now. This wall will have no more problems with deflection, completely guaranteed for a minimum of 20 years, and should be here for a long time.
Now, what's going on the top here? Are they going to re-landscape up there?
Yes, the up top, the landscapers will return to regrade to the top of the wall to replenish the soil that's been lost due to the bulging wall, and also for the erosion. They're going to cut in a drainage swale up top, and then the structural steel will get lapped up and anchored at the top of the wall too at a future date.
Now, you've done several of these in your career. This isn't your first rodeo.
Oh no.
Yeah, I remember. What's that last big wall you did in the same area, wasn't it?
It was actually in the south side of Charlotte at an apartment complex. There were hundreds of anchors installed on that project in a similar fashion as this, and the wall is still standing proud today.
What kind of a warranty do you give on your work here, Chris?
Well, for work like this, like I said, is about 20 years, or it is 20 years, but generally it's just going to depend on the level of service. If there are cheaper alternatives to this, which will of course shorten the life, but in general, you could expect 20, 30 years on up, depending on how deep you want to invest in it.
And instead of bringing in a really large company with big drill rigs and really tearing this place up, you were able to do this with small line equipment and with minimal distraction to the footprint here, weren't you?
Yes, I am. Limited access drilling is my specialty. And, as you can see, with the creek in the natural area, which of course is dried up with the dry spell we were having, but normally this creek would hold about a foot and a half of water and constantly flow. But, all of this and the trees behind us would have been removed to bring in other larger pieces of equipment.
So you were able to fix this problem thousands of dollars cheaper than, let's say, a large geotechnical firm that would have been forced to rip all this down or create a road or some access back here. You were able to do this with your drills and with scaffolding as needed, and then naturally you had some shotcrete here that I see that they had to pump in using a small line pump and I guess around 10 yards of concrete. Is that right?
That is correct. Generally, this, and actually, I believe it was thousands. I think it may have been closer to $10,000 cheaper. You know, that I was able to come in well under everybody else and still achieve the same results.
Well, this was certainly a satisfying project here. I know everybody's really happy, and again, I'm here with Chris Merman at Piedmont Foundation Repair. His number is 704-401-4111. And if you need these types of specialty services, this is the backbone of his business, and I've known him 20 years and personally know that he'll do the best quality work that you'll find in this city. This job site is in Charlotte, North Carolina, off Sharon View. But I appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk about this, Chris, because it's important people find out about you. And if you need them, give them a call.